topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're here. Are you there? Are you out there? Okay, breaker, who's got their ears on? Welcome to another fabulous time of dialogue and conversation and increasing in your knowledge to Setting It Straight with Miss Gray and her fabulous co-host. And we also have some fabulous guests tonight. But before we go any further, we got to take it to the throne room. Here we go. Lord, we just thank you and we praise you so much. You alone are worthy to be praised. We thank you for your love, your saving grace, and your mercy. Please, Father God, just have your way. We are your children. Thank you for the revelation. Thank you for revealing and exposing. Thank you for the partnerships and the collaborations. Thank you, Father God. Thank you for more time. Thank you for more time. Now we're going to get behind the cross. We're going to lean in, listen, observe, praying all the while you set your captives free. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen and amen. Oh, there's Miss Kay. Okay, Miss Kay. All right. Well, I don't want to delay any further. We've got guests tonight. They're not around the way. They are not out of the state. They're not even in the state. They're someplace else. And we could bring them on in because we're going to welcome them. Mr. Kevin G. and Mr. Chris R. Woohoo! Yay! Well, we got Chris. Hey, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Well, we got one more, so he's gonna find his way. But anyway, thank you for agreeing to do this. I'm gonna get you started. I'll tell a little piece and give him some time, give Kevin time to come on. I'm part of the amputee coalition. As you know, we're still celebrating Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month. And this is our last Monday in the month. 3 more days. This is the last 3 days of April. If you didn't get it done this month, you just might as well either table it or cross it over, transfer it to next month, because May 1st is Friday. We're done. May 1st is here. Okay, and soon we'll be in the summer months and time continues on. But anyway, I think I shared with you the last time, or sometime during this month, that I was a part of the amputee coalition, and on their community chat, Kevin was was a part, and Chris is also a member, and Kevin was getting ready to do interviews. And hey, Mickey, thank you. Come on in. And I just said, you know what the heck, I'll do an interview. And it's been a relationship ever since. I met all these groovy people that live in Canada, and we're on group chats and we're in support group settings, and we're live. They had a great event last night up there. I'm going to let them tell you all about it. So Chris, I'm going to get you started here. Tell us how you got involved. And good evening, Misty. And our viewers are coming in. They're all over, from Mississippi to Louisiana to New York to Virginia to Washington. We got some Palm Beach County folk. We got some Knoxville, Tennessee folk. And so they're going to be popping in. But Chris, go ahead, and if you want to get us started on how, whatever you want to share, first of all. Okay, let me do that. Okay. And then tell us how you got involved with the limb loss connection. And there's my jacket back there. There's my jacket.
So for me, I guess my journey started a little bit more than 2 years ago. I got really sick one day. Um, they took me to the hospital, was in a coma for a bit, and basically I guess with the medication they give you to try to save you, you lose a lot of blood circulation. So through sepsis, I lost the blood circulation through my hands and my legs. And then in about April of 2024, I had surgery to amputate all four limbs. And then I was in the hospital for a bit, went to rehab, and in rehab at St. John's Rehab in Canada, Toronto, Canada. Um, that's where I met Kevin, and we were just having some dialogue. And I actually just want to like, because he's a little bit more computer techy, I want to create like an app. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you can help. I have an idea. And he went back to his room, came back the next day. He's like, ah, that doesn't sound good. Uh, let's do. I think we were just gonna start like with a podcast. Like, oh, we can do like an amputee podcast, and it just kind of grew. So we created Limb Loss Connection. Connection being one of the more important parts is we're basically trying to connect other amputees with each other, because if you notice, maybe you might be the only one of your friends that have an amputation. It's not common where multiple friends in one group have some sort of amputation.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of feel like you're off on your own for a bit. Like no one really understands like what you're going through. Everyone can help, everyone can be nice, but no one's really going to understand what your thinking is, like, and how you feel losing your limbs. And even just as other amputees, maybe they're not going to understand. They might understand losing one, but not many people are going to understand and losing four. So
Mm-hmm.
even in our own community, you're trying to find other people who you can connect with that can help you navigate your own journey, because like it's rough when something like this happens and you're just trying to figure out how to move forward and get back to like your normal everyday life. So we kind of founded Limb Loss Connection. We started small, we're just trying to connect people, and then we just started adding members. um, we Miss Gray came on, and she's been great. She's motivational. She fills gaps that we didn't know that we had. She's great at researching, and she finds us all these different forms and bylaws that we didn't even know we needed. And we have different members that kind of fill different gaps. We have Yaz, who's our communications person. She's great talking. Maybe I'm not the best at talking. I talk a lot, but not the best at communication. So she kind of helps with like the communications. We have social media. We have Angie on there. So we have like Paolo and Kevin, who is the other co-founder. We all do our certain tasks. Kevin is more the hands-on, taking care of everything, making sure everything's going. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes because I don't really like being like the forefront. I kind of like give me my task and let me run with it, kind of thing. But I feel like it
Thank
was
you.
just
See,
a
you
way
did
to
so
help connect
good.
people.
Look at you. Look at you. He was not sure if he's going to get through it. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
we will guide you. It's safe. It's all good. And as you all can hear, we all, I mean, there's over 5 point some million amputees in the right now. That's the number we're at, 5.2, I believe, million. Okay. And everybody's got a different story. And then we break it down to subgroups. And then you break it down to age. You bring it down. I mean, it's just it's continuing. It's continuing. But we want you to know that there are resources out there. There are people, we know how to listen. And we know how to gently say, you know what, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. Whereas other people from other communities wouldn't know. Like Chris said, they wouldn't know, really how to approach us, because everybody wants to help you. Everybody wants to help. They think, oh, I got to help. I got to help. And it's like, no, no, no. I'm in training today. I think I'm gonna make a T-shirt. I'm in training today. I'll let you know if I need help. And it's a wonderment that people, and it's everywhere, right, Chris? I mean, it's up there, up there in Canada as well.
Yeah, it's a big community. I don't think we have as much as the States.
Mhm.
But at Limnos, we're trying to cover both sections. We understand there's a gap between Canada and the US with the amputee awareness. So we do try to give out resources that maybe people don't know about. How people like small things. You get, remember, how do you get a wheelchair? How do you pick prosthetics? Anything we do. We have our YouTube channel, Lim Loss Connection. We have our Facebook. We have our Instagram page. So we're on all the platforms, Spotify. There's there's stories you can listen to. There's just some candid talk like this today.
Mhm.
Um, Even just like some tips. Maybe you're having trouble trying to get out of chairs, and with especially as like a bilateral, you don't really have the flexibility. So I have some tips on how to get out of chairs, how to eat, for example, because I don't have the hands, right? So how do you eat with the prosthetic arms? And it's also be stuff that we take recommendations. If someone's having trouble doing something and someone's good at it,
Mhm.
we can connect them or even make a video on what can help other people. Because at least from what I found, it's much easier to watch somebody do something and mimic it than to try to figure it out yourself. And yeah, you might get to the same result. Like it takes you some time, but if someone's already done it, it's much easier to follow their instructions, and it might save you hours of energy. And as an amputee, we burn a lot of energy for doing everything.
And we do, and and we're still people. We're still people. We still have the same personality. We may have changed, the foods that we eat and things like that. We have some changes too, but we're the same people. And people, I remember, my daughter did very well at making sure just not anybody came to visit me in the hospital because I was still trying to wrap my head around what was going on, in a coma. I don't know how long were you in your coma, Chris?
I think about a week and a half to 2 weeks ish.
Okay.
That whole part is gone. Like I don't
Hmm.
remember. I actually don't remember driving home that night. Like I remember picking up my girlfriend, now wife. I remember picking her up, getting in the car, but I don't actually remember the drive home or anything after that. I just remember waking up in the hospital. But from what I told, it was about a week and a half to 2 weeks in the coma.
Okay. Yeah, and see, we had similar. I was in mine for 3 weeks, and everything total loss until I woke up. I mean, most of the book is, as I'm just trying to tell the parts that came from my daughter, my Miss K. She was the one that every day she knew, no, Ma, this is what happened. No, that she just corrected me on something the other day. She goes, no, it wasn't at night, it was in the daytime. I'm like, oh, shucks, okay, and I still can't bring back some of that. I still cannot remember, even though she has filled in the blanks really well. But we all have that different, um, uh, the whole difference and the experience and where we're at because it depends on our age and what were you doing before and and then trying to what immediately I was like I can't go back to my office, I can't go back to acting, I can't go back, I can't, and the Lord had to quiet me down and say, I didn't tell you to do that, I need you to get some rest. And I didn't know what he meant at that time because trying, PT, OT coming in, the nurse is waking you up at least every 2 hours, checking vitals, drawing blood, all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh my God, and then they got to bathe you and then they got to figure out how to bathe you. And, especially when you had your limbs on and things like that. So our stories are different. And if you want to, please go to the limlossconnection.com. And we've got our stories are on there, the interviews, we've got the interviews as well, the stories. Chris, you want to tell a little bit about the website a little bit and what folks can once they log in, how to kind of not navigate too much, but how what they could find on there. Could you explain that a little bit more for me, for
Yep.
us?
So we try to get a little bit of everything. So one of the main things is we have virtual support calls every other Sunday, which helps just amputees come together and they can talk about any issues on the call from all over North America. So
Hmm.
there's a spot on the website where you can register and you'll get a link to if you want to join. We have resources such as if you're looking for clinics in your area. We do include the U.S. clinics in different states. We have stuff on tips on like buying wheelchairs because most of the time you probably never have to think of how do you buy a wheelchair, and especially like when you're in the hospital, it's it's very different. Like you wake up and all of a sudden it's like you lose a limb and it's like, oh wait, you got to get a wheelchair. Oh, you got to get these things in your home. And you don't know. No, your family doesn't know how to get these things. So we try
Hmm.
to help navigate new amputees and family members of how to get these items. We put on there some useful items because you don't really know what you need
You don't.
until you need it.
Hmm.
And I'm very picky and I'm a certain way and I can't change the way I am. So just as an example, I can't wear my shoes in the house. Like we don't wear shoes in the house. You always take off your shoes, and I can't take off the shoes off the feet. So now I'm thinking like, well, what am I supposed to do in the house? I can't just walk in my house with my shoes. So I we went online and we found shoe covers, and I just cover my shoes when I come in the house, and that like that was an important thing. So I put that on the website, just a link to shoe covers.
There you
If
go.
you feel the same way, you can cover up your shoes. You don't feel like you're walking in your shoes with your wet shoes, your dirty shoes, anything like that. Things that you even like toothpaste dispensers for me because I can't really grip the toothpaste because I can push the toothpaste in there. Things like electric toothbrushes. It helps because you can't really brush the same way, so the electric toothbrush helps. Um, we have links to stories, other people who have similar situations, maybe a motorcycle accident, sepsis, diabetes.
Mhm.
Um, so we have so many different resources. We try to get something for everybody because knowing because we went through it and you're looking for help and you don't really know where to go and it's not guaranteed that the hospital you go to is going to know where to guide you. Like I was in the first hospital and they had physio and it's the surgical ward, but no one really told me anything about having to get a
Mm.
wheelchair. They gave me a wheelchair from the hospital, but I didn't know I needed my own. They didn't really know anything about prosthetics at that stage. It wasn't until I went to rehab that they give you these ideas of what you need. So we were trying to like get stages of your recovery. So when you're in the hospital, maybe you want to look at these certain things of like dealing with like losing the limb. And then when you hit the rehab stage, it's okay, well, what do you have to look at? Oh, rehab, exercises, prosthetics, wheelchairs. Then when you go home, what do you need? Oh, you might need a bath chair, you may need grab bars. So we try to get something for everybody because we know how difficult it is and we try to listen to everybody and not leave anybody out. Now, is there gaps? There's probably gaps that we're still learning with, but
Mhm.
if somebody does give us some sort of suggestion that we're missing something, we're very quick to like, okay, how can we add that for that person or
Mhm.
connect them with somebody else?
Yeah, thank you for that. And just going back to the two leading organizations, Amputee Coalition of the U.S. and there's an Amputee Coalition in Canada. And the one in Canada right now has one certification program, which is to be a peer visitor. They train us on how to go if a patient or if an amputee person, whether it's pre-amputation or post-amputation, if they want a visitor, they want somebody that they can relate to, they call us. They'll try to match us as close as possible. Like I'm lower limb, I'm no toes, and I'm upper limb. I'm a combo, but somebody may, and yeah, Chris and I are combos, but somebody else may just be upper limb, and they'll try to match you with that person. Now, one thing we can't go in and telling them, oh, this is a great, a prosthetist over here, or this is a great PT over here. We can't give those type of suggestions. We are there for the emotional support. and just to let you know you're not by yourself. And there's a brighter side. There's a brighter side. And now it's time to fight. Heal as best as you can, because once you're healing and as you're healing, you got to get ready to fight. And what I mean by that is fight for your advocacy, fight for your rights, fight to be heard. Another piece, I was thinking about this, Chris, earlier today, and even last night, the Lord placed it on my heart. Our caregivers, our families, because we go in the hospital, we leave, we left them one way, and then months later, 97 days, 100 days later, and then 6 months later, we're getting, having our surgeries and stuff, even, or you have it while you're in the hospital during that main stay. We're coming back different. We're coming back a little different. And thank you, Anastasia. So we can't really tell sometimes our loved ones what we really need, because we're still trying to wrap our head around, what am I to do now? What am I to do? And getting the word out, people need to know. Thank you, Mickey. What do I need to do? And everybody wants, then you've got your prosthetic people saying, oh, well, you could try this and you could do this. And I'm like, hold it. Just hang on a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I got it. Let me get used to this. Well, there's sneakers, there's shoes, and orthopedic shoes that you see on Amazon are different for folks who don't have toes. That's a different shoe, even though it's a sneaker. I got to do Velcro because I want to be able to put my own sneakers on, when I want to go for a walk and things like that. So, it's different, but I want to do a piece. We're already open to listening to our caregivers, but I know we'll eventually, once we get everybody that wants to come in and settled a little bit and, designate some more, opportunities and things like that, because we can't do everything. We're not going to spread ourselves too thin. So we need voices and we need energy and all that good stuff. But, we want to talk about the caregivers, because we want to give a shout out to them, because they don't know what really to do. And sometimes we may have to snap, we may have a bad day. And I know that they're like, well, I can't leave you alone because I don't want you falling off the bed or something, and giving us our space. So that's a whole conversation right there. That's a whole different type of book. That's a whole different type of lecture, or support, just to tell our caregivers how much we love them and appreciate them, because you put up with us as we're trying to navigate our personality, our to-do list. What I need you to do is this. What I need you to do is that. No, don't do that. And without them getting their feelings hurt, because they lost us. They have a loss too. Because, before this, I was the head of my household, and I was making money and doing my acting and doing this and doing that and staying busy while the kids were in school, and then so I could go pick them up and then get them home, and and then the next day back at it. And now all of a sudden I'm home. And I'm like, everything I used to do, I'm not able to do. Or at that time, I didn't think I could. I was able to God bless me to be able to go back and to try and see how I felt acting again at the History Center. But I would have to have somebody with me, especially if I have a change of clothing, and things like that. So, and then getting used to your prosthetic. That's a whole conversation. We're thankful for our new legs and arms and fingers and toes and everything. We're thankful it's out there. It would blow your mind. You think you've seen the Terminator. That stuff is real. Those arms, legs, that mechanics and everything, that's real. And that was already in existence before Terminator came along. Where do you think they got it from? They didn't just stop and say, you know what, we need a mechanical arm that can move and it can shoot out things. No, Star Wars, all that stuff, that's been there. We just happened that we needed it. And that's a field that's growing. That's a whole different arena. Talking to the companies that make the prosthetics. And that's I don't know about you, that day being interviewed by my prosthetic company, you know, and I had to put my hand down into this mush stuff to form the hand that they were gonna make for me, and my feet the same way. I mean, you know, with the toes and getting the toe fillers in it, you know, it's a whole story. If you want to listen, it's a whole story. And we're trying to move forward. So one of the many things I appreciate about limb loss is that you've got things set up. You go on the website, you click on this. I didn't know that was there. You click on that. I didn't know that was there. We're trying, like Chris said, we're uploading, they're uploading all the time. So you're not alone. And that's the main message we want to get out there, to let people know you're not alone. And we know what you're feeling. We know the loneliness, we know the depression, we know we know about phantom pain, phantom sensation. You know, it's so many subjects all over the place, all over the place. You know, so all right, audience or co-host, Trey, Miss K, come on, talk. Let's, you know, he's good. He's good, guys. You have any
And it's
questions
not,
for him?
no, well, not necessarily a question, but something that I would like to just say. And it's nice meeting you, Chris. You know, thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing great shares on the show all the time. But what I was thinking when you were talking about not knowing what to do, like from the hospital, you know, where that starts. So my thought was thinking like a discharge, or as a social worker at that point, that before, isn't it a piece before your discharge, it's like a social worker or something like that. I envision that maybe if they have these conferences, you know, everybody has a conference, you know, to learn about the different things. I think it'll be great if your organization presented at it, maybe a social work consortium or workshop or conference, whatever they are, and giving them some ideas of things that they need to do should they encounter someone with limb loss. You know, where to start, you know, because they might be at a loss as well. But a start is okay, preparing, helping to prepare the family, because that's your, like your go-to before going home. If I'm thinking correctly, that's your go-to. And so that it would behoove them maybe to do that, and maybe even before that, like a transition team, a team of people that will help the caregivers, the families, to navigate what life will look like once you're discharged from the hospital. So that support system that will be there through the part of the journey. And these are knowledgeable people. And I think maybe with your organization and you, Ms. Gray, being part of that, you know, training transitional teams for families for when they are exiting, things to expect, the depression, the mood changes, the, you know, what ifs, and just being there for a certain amount of time. So
Well,
that's
yeah, we're right now, and Chris, always, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, especially up in Canada, they've got made contact with some of the main hospitals and the main doctors, main surgeons. So we've got their ear, and I think they came on a couple of times with the Sunday support, virtual support group, to just talk about some updates and things like that. So we're slowly, you know, dealing with just the amputee profession, those who are from the PT to the OT to the surgeons themselves, or to the doctors, the aftercare. We're right there with them right now. And you're right, Trey. That's how I got involved with the Amputee Coalition. Well, I was involved and I was looking, and then they're like, "Oh, we're coming to Orlando for our conference." So they came here 2 years ago, and that's where I met I had my OT. She came as my guest. You know, I mean, who does that? You know what I'm saying? And they gave her the day off and everything. And I was just so happy. But, you know, everybody was there. And that's where I met my Taekwondo instructor. And I'm her first, limb loss, student. So, and I'm going back. But, it's just so many we're just trying to get the ear to everybody. And I think, and Chris, I want you to answer this too. I think one of my main things, I have to sit and think about it because it's so much. But what my main thing is, I think one of my main things that I had to come to grips with was I got to be able to let you know when I do need help and when I don't need help. Because I'm trying to become as independent as I can. Now that I'm alive, I'm here, Okay, he allowed me to live not once but twice. Okay, I got him. I got to go forward now. But being able to accept the help, sometimes it's a hard thing. So to tell the public at large and even our caregivers, don't get upset with us. You really don't know if we wake up that morning saying, you know what, today I've got to do 3 things. I've got to clear this list, and I got to do it by myself. You don't know what we're really thinking, because we don't sit there and have a whole conference on it, because we don't know sometimes what we need to do that day. And it just happens that we did it. We couldn't do it last week, but we could do it this week. Well, Chris, what would be something that you would, right now, where you're at, where you've been, if you don't mind sharing, what would be something we need to know? People in your immediate circle or your caregivers or just public at large. What would be one thing? It's a lot, I know, but just, you can think about it if you want, if you need to take
I
a minute,
think
but I'm just curious.
communication. I think communication between both caregiver and amputee is very important because, and I'm not even saying I still don't do it.
Hmm.
For a while, I would just expect people to know what I wanted to do without saying anything. And then my wife would be like, "Well, why don't you just use your words?" Like, and it's funny because you say it to kids, like, "Oh, what do you want? Why are you being upset?" But I was doing it, and I don't even know why I was doing it. I would just be sitting. I'm like, "Okay, well, I need to do this. Oh, my put my hearing aids in." And she's like, "Well, if you don't tell me, how am I supposed to know like what you want me to do?" And I don't really know why I was doing it, but
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I need to like get better at like speaking. Maybe because I'm not used to asking for help. It's weird for me to like be like, oh, can you do this? And can you do that? And can you do this? So I feel like communication and like, yeah, if you want to try something, tell them like, hey, let me try putting on my shirt by myself. Because I feel like when you don't really know what you can do until you try it, and you don't really know what the issue is. And a lot of times I'll do something and my wife will be like, why I've been helping you this whole time, you clearly can do it by yourself, so now do it by yourself. Like, and that's the
Don't
thing,
be Miss K.
I would
Don't
just
be
sit and
making
be like,
face.
okay, help me with my stuff. And
Yeah.
then she'll be going somewhere and I'll just be like, okay, let me just do this. And then she comes back, she's like, what the heck? She's like, so why have I been doing this? Like, do it yourself. And it was just, and kind of like you were saying, like try to do 3 things a day, but just try to do something. Like I'll just use an example. For everybody was brushing my teeth because I can't grab the toothbrush. And then in my head, I'm troubleshooting, like, well, how do I do this?
Hmm.
So I just took my electric toothbrush and I sat on the couch. No water, no nothing, nice and dry. And I sat on the couch. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I balance it? And so I sat there and played with it for a bit. How do I balance it on my arm? How do I hold it down? How do I put a little bit of pressure? And then after like 5 to 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I found a good way to do this. And then the next step is like, okay, well, let me try to like use some water. And then I got like a toothpaste dispenser so I can just push the thing and get the toothpaste. And I figured out how to balance it. I figured out how to like get in my electric toothbrush is key because like it does most of the work, but it was
Hmm.
more so just figuring out the balance. I have like a compression sleeve sometimes on my arm. I can't use that when I'm brushing my teeth because it slides. I don't have the grip. So I'm like, okay, I have to make sure it's on my skin to balance. But it's like those little things that unless you try to do it, you're
Hmm.
not going to know. And then you find out whether you can do it, what it takes to do it, and like then you can troubleshoot a little bit more. So kind of give yourself a little bit of credit and
Hmm.
try. If you get a little bit lazy and you just get complacent because someone's doing it for you, you're not really going to know if you can do it or what you need to be able to do whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah. I was in OT and PT one time, and I, when I had my prosthetic on, we were doing exercises and doing things, and then we take it off to give my arm a rest because it's a heavy thing. It's heavy, even though I got a little lighter one, but it's still heavy. And my OT, Christina had to say, Miss Gray, you can use your arm. And I'm looking at her like, what? She goes, you're not using the rest of your arm. I literally forgot that I got this much of arm that I could use, because I'm so used to, I got to put something on that. And I'm like, oh my, and I sat there and I teared up because, excuse me, because I didn't realize. I really didn't know because I was protected. I can't use this. My hand is gone. My fingers are gone. But no, I can't because I use this to balance. I use this to pick up things. I get back people in the store like, oh, you need some help? No, no, no. I load the arm up as is, with my bags and stuff. As long as I can make it out the door. Thank God all I have to do is put my body on the car and unlock my door, and stuff like that. So, it's amazing. Last year, I think sometime when we were honoring over the last couple of Aprils, I brought on all my gadgets, my assisted devices, my cup handles and stuff. And Amazon they have really kept up with the industry. I have to give them an applause because anything you can, from scissors to cups, cup holders, socks, all kinds of things. You can go to Amazon and just put in the search bar assisted devices. That's all you have to do, and it's gonna come up. It's gonna, whatever you may need. So, any questions? Come on, guys. Come on, audience. I know y'all listening. Stop being in
I don't
shock.
have any questions, but Mr. Chris, I thank you for sharing your story, and I just loved how you shared of some people being lazy. Saying of doing things that they're completely capable
He didn't
of
say
doing.
lazy. He didn't say lazy. Don't call
He
him
did
lazy.
after the fact, but still, because somebody
See what I live with.
enjoys, when we do everything when they're completely capable of doing it themselves. But I am proud of her. She did make herself her own meal today. So, well, not like actually like making it, but like, heating up some food for herself.
Yeah, because
I was definitely just as bad. Like my wife does a lot of this stuff, and I try I'm like, oh, okay, let me try see if I can do the laundry, and I'll try to do those things. But what I notice is it's kind of like you have to work as a team because the caregiver is also scared that you're going to hurt yourself and you're trying to show that you can do something. Because he kind of brought me when you're talking about like getting the cart bags from the car. And I'm like, okay, give me a bag. And she's like, no, like you have to walk and balance. Like I'll carry everything. She's trying to carry all the bags. And it took her a while to be like, okay, well, okay, this one's light. Here, take this one. And then like I'm like, okay, if I have my prosthetics arms, can I put it on? Is it too heavy? Does it hurt? And then same thing, I just grip it with my elbow or put it over my shoulder. And then I think the other day, we bought pizza, but she can't carry the bags and the pizza. So I'm like, okay, just give me the bag. She's like, it's heavy. I'm like, no, just give it to me. I'll take my time. So she gave me a big Costco bag. I just threw it over my shoulder. She set me up, and then I'm like, okay. I'm like, just go. Like, I'll walk behind you. I'll take my time. I'll make sure I don't like try to rush. But it still took her time to allow me to do those things because your caregiver also doesn't want you to get hurt. They feel responsible for you. So if you fall, even though it's your fault, they're going to feel guilty that you fell because they didn't stop you from falling. And you can't help it. Like if you fall, you fall. Like it happens, but like they also feel like they're tied to you if you fall or get hurt. So you kind of have to work together a little bit and maybe take a step at a time so that they also feel comfortable allowing you to stay home by yourself. It took my wife a long time before she would leave me in the house by myself. And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Just put my legs on. I can go to the washroom if I need to go to the bathroom. There's nothing major that's going to happen. But it took her some time. Now she leaves. She can go do grocery shopping, come back, and I'm still in one piece.
Yeah, I got you. We had
my mother behind 24/7, but
she's trying to track me. She has an iPhone. I have an Android. She's trying to track me. She know, Mom, you need to get an iPhone.
Because she turns off her phone. I feel like
I'm gone. I'll just go.
It's definitely an old school thing with turning your phone off while you're running errands. It makes no sense to me.
No.
Because it's like, I'm trying to reach you. And what if I have something going on? Like, how would you know? Like, she does that. She turns her phone off.
Yeah, because I don't want to take everything. I have a crossbody handbag. I got to get to my money. I got to get to my change first. I don't need to be trying to get to the cell phone because it's going to take me a minute. I've got to get my phone. I got to get the phone. Then I got to lay it here. And then I got to, maneuver. I don't have time for that because when I leave here, I want to go do what I need to do and come back.
See, I have her run down like her plans for today. And then sometimes it changes. So when she answers the phone, I know she's doing something extra than what she told me. See, I just don't trust her when she go out by herself because she's by herself.
No,
Yeah,
you know
it's the
the
same
deal
thing.
is they think I'm gonna see I'm seeing somebody, Trey. They think
At
she think
all. I'm not worried about
I'm not
that.
gonna let her know that. I ain't
I'm
gonna
not
let you
worried
know.
about that. You would let me
Okay,
know. I'm not worried.
can you put in earbuds? Get her some AirPods so she just has to touch them and the phone will answer, and then she can answer your
Don't give her
calls.
no ideas. Don't
He has
give
an
her no
Android,
ideas.
unfortunately, Mr. Chris. So
I'm sure the AirPods will work with them still.
Whose side are you on, Chris? Whose side are you on? But it is hard. It is a conversation, and letting people, and Anastasia had a question. When do you ask us for help? Watch our body language. Our eyes will tell you, because if we're like trying, you could, because most of y'all will stand there and watch us, right? So we're trying to get the bag. We're trying to reach in the basket. All you have to you can say, "Hey, I can help," and we may say, "No, thank you," and you have to accept that, and you'll have to walk away. But there was a time recently, I said, would you mind? The person was staring at me so long because they didn't know, they were frozen, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I said, could you? Oh, yes. And I'm like, okay. You don't take all that, but they were staring at me for so long. But thank you for asking. And I told you all the situation when I was in Walmart and I accidentally put the soda on the basket on the inside, which is where the conveyor belt was, instead of putting it on the outside, because I'm walking around and I'm getting everything and putting it. So and the gentleman behind me was standing there like, and I swore he stopped breathing because he didn't know what to do. So I just walked around my basket, pulled it out a little bit, lifted up my sodas, and I said, I'm okay. He said, oh, thank you. I said, I said, I'm okay. And thank you for not saying anything, because I'm really working on independence. The cashier was about to pass out because she's like, I can't even get to her fast. I can't get around fast enough just to get the soda out of the basket. I don't put it on the side anymore. I put it in the basket now. So it's just little things like that. And we're always learning things about ourselves too, every day. We have a new normal every day.
Yeah, and you
Every
can't
day.
really be scared, like both sides. Like if you see someone struggling, you can all it is like, oh, do you need help? And if it's no, okay, no problem. Or if you're the amputee who needs help, it's very easy to just be like, oh, do you mind just helping me? And it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't ask anybody for anything. I never really, if I needed something, I would just figure it out myself. I never did. So now it's hard to ask. And I don't remember who told me. I don't know if it was Miss Gray or someone in one of the virtual calls. They're like, when you go to a restaurant, just ask them to cut up your steak. And I'm like, oh, Jake, yeah, they have no problem. Because otherwise my wife's cutting it up and then I'm like, so every time I go, I'm like, do you mind just slicing it? And they're like, yeah, sure. It comes all sliced up in pieces. I can just scoop it onto a spoon and eat. Yeah, it doesn't come as nicely as you want to take pictures for. All the girls want to take pictures of their food, but it makes it so much easier and it saves you so much time. And then it also lets my wife eat her food because she's not worrying about trying to cut up my food and feed me the food. It's in pieces that I can just scoop it and eat on my own, and then her food doesn't go cold. But
Mhm.
it's really just being comfortable asking for help or asking somebody if they need help. You don't have to like jump in. You just have to
Mhm.
ask.
Yeah, don't hover over us. Don't, oh, we don't, don't do that. Because I'll be like, don't touch me. Don't even come near me, because you got the wrong idea already, and I know you really mean well, but just give me a minute. And as I was telling the gentleman at Walmart, I say, yeah, you never know when we're working on our independence. He said, I get you. He said, but thank you. He said, oh my God. He said, that just bothered me because I wanted to jump in and help. Then one time I was at Olive Garden. I was there by myself. I always get my to-go cups. I have to take my handle in. And so I'm watching the restaurant, seeing who's leaving, who's going to not be between me and the exit door. Believe it or not. I'm sitting here looking. Okay, I'm judging. I said, okay, I'm going to hurry up. I'm not going to take a to-go cup with me. So I'm going to get up and go. I'm not going to have any food. I've been leaving food on the plate. Normally, I don't leave food on a plate. I ask for a to-go bag or whatever. But this time I said, no, I got to get out that door because it was really packed. So I was good. I was walking, I was making it. I could see the door. And all of a sudden, I don't know where these people convened, just came from nowhere. And it was kids. And they were right on me. and I'm just trying to get to the door. So this guy, he's coming in. So instead of holding the door open for me, he's gonna walk in. I mean, I'm like, and I could like, you know, we were wobbles, you know. We, even though we got good shoes on, we are unsteady sometimes. And if you bump us, there's nothing we can do. There's really nothing. And I don't want to fall. I don't want to go back to the hospital. And so by the time I got, thank God the handicap parking was right there. By the time I got to my car, I was just tears because I felt so bad. I mean, like you all you couldn't even see because they were behind me, but the guy was in front of me. And I'm like, you're so inconsiderate. And I'm like, I'll never come out by myself again. I'll never go eat by myself. I can't go and eat. And I had all these thoughts in my head because I can't do this because it was just that one time, but I've been going ever since. But you know, it's just, you know, it's just, you know, we pivot, you know, and sometimes there are times when we go out to eat. If I go by myself, I got to know, okay, I can only get this or that because I don't have anybody to cut up my food. So I can't enjoy a steak tonight because they don't cut our food down here, Chris. For some reason, they're like, you know, I've asked, would you mind could you ask the chef to cut it up? Well, we can't do that. Oh, okay. You know, so then, nope, just give me chicken breast or give me the meatloaf, you know, or give me a fish that I could just take my fork and just jab it and stuff. So they don't know down here for some reason in Orlando, some of the restaurants will not cut up my food. So, you know, and you know, when one of the kids are with me, they grab the plate and like, okay, immediately, and they cut up real quick and I'm ready to go. I'm good to go. So, you know, I'm still trying. Yes, Trey. Oh, she wants to say something. Say something, Trey. I only got a few more minutes.
I'm visualizing opportunities for sensitivity training, whether restaurants, because this is how you can pitch it. I would have bought the steak, but I wouldn't have been able to do it. So now I bought the chicken. So if you're trying to help me spend some money so I can enjoy it, these are the accommodations I need. Not, you know, but just the conversations around, because sometimes people just don't think about it. And I might be have conversations with franchises or managers. Hey, if you have somebody in, and maybe the extra part would be, do you need special accommodations? Because they do it at the gas stations. If you need special accommodations, push the button for the clerk. Same thing with that. Is there something maybe on the menu? If you need a special accommodations, please let the waitress or waiter know. And then that could look like anything. That could be anything. Because I understand, Chris, you want to be able to go out with your wife and let her enjoy her food. I understand that. Same with you, Miss K, with Miss Gray. But you should not have to forego what you want because nobody's on the other end. The restaurant
not sensitive.
is brought to their attention, they might do it because maybe they never thought about that. You see what I'm saying? Because if I want to steak chicken, because you should not have to, and maybe bring it to their attention. So that's my thought.
At least I'm not sure about in the States, but in Canada, Google reviews are like gold, especially for small businesses. And I've left a bad review because something happened and they contact me right away, like, oh, we're so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But it's very easy to go on there and be like, oh, went into this restaurant, 1 star, the food was okay, asked them to do something as I'm disabled, and they said no. So they weren't, it's not like you're asking for something crazy. Like they have knives in the back. They can, why can't they cut it up? Like they can clearly see you have a disability and you can't hold the knife to do it. So they're limiting your food options. So like that's what I usually do. If I get some great service from somebody, I leave a great review mentioning like, oh, like they were very thoughtful. They did this, they did that. But if they're bad, I clearly leave something being like, oh, they did this, this, and this. They didn't care. And then usually they'll be like, oh, we're so sorry about that. But at least then people know going forward. Because if they get a few bad reviews, people will look at it and they're going to lose business. So they're very quick to like want to address it right away. So maybe that could be your thing. If they're like that, start leaving reviews for them and let people know about how bad their business is.
Should they ask prior to them cutting up the food? Yeah, I would. I mean, I hear what Chris is saying, and I would, you know, if I'm by myself and they're taking, and my server is taking my order, that may be a better time to say, could you have the chef just cut it up couple of pieces for me, I really appreciate it, you know, and see what they respond. But I have had them after the food was, you know, almost getting ready to come out and say, could you have them cut that up? Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, okay.
Oh, I usually
You know,
ask them once I place the order. I'm like, oh,
okay.
can we get this? And do you mind asking the chef to cut it? And usually they're like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And it always comes out nicely sliced into smaller pieces.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, I don't know who's trying to interrupt Miss K there. I know that's not Jazz walking on her hind feet. So anyway,
It's your son.
well, Chris. Oh, okay. Which one? I got a
My
few.
twin.
Okay, but the one who made the music, Chris. Did you pay attention to the music? If you next time as we're going off, listen to the music. My baby boy created the theme music for us.
Oh, nice.
So it's really cool. But thank you, Chris. Anything else? I mean, that's our time. This is our last Monday in April, and we've done it. And thank you for just really putting the exploding candles on the cake tonight. But anything you want to leave an audience with anymore as we're signing off?
Just thank you so much for having me. And please, if you guys visit our website, limlossconnection.com. We're on YouTube under Limb Loss Connection. There's some stories, there's some AMP talks. On Instagram, we're getting more content going. Soon we'll have our CN Tower event with some photos and videos. Also at Limb Loss Connection on Instagram, and we're on Spotify and Facebook also under Limb Loss Connection. So just search us, follow us, check out our posts. If you like it, please like and subscribe to our channels as well. And then hopefully that can help us bring more content and newer stuff for things. And if you have any suggestions of something you'd like to see, you can always leave something in the comments that if you want to see another type of video or something we can talk about, we can look to see if we can get some content for that.
Thank you, everybody. Give it up for Mr. Chris. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see y'all next week, same time, same station. Take us home. Yes. You open it.